absolutely.
This was when I went like, this is like the point of the night when my ears perked up and I went like, okay, apparently Raw really means business tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll let you take the reins on this one first. What did you think about Ryback here? Because I'm surprised. Well, actually, no. I shouldn't be surprised how divisive this promo has been in terms of crowd reaction and people watching what their reactions were.
By
So,
divisive, do you mean polarizing?
well, yeah, definitely. Because
Like some people loved it, some people hated it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Who in the world could have possibly hated this?
I'm telling you, man, they're out there. I think, honestly, and this isn't even me trying to be snarky or whatever, I think quite a few people that hated it are the same people that just apparently haven't forgiven Ryback for CM Punk's remarks and whatever, and are holding
Are they also the same people that cheer for frickin' Seth Rollins and boo Sami Zayn?
Potentially, you know.
Because that seems like the kind of person, like the only kind of person that would not like this.
Right.
This was amazing. To me, the most surprising thing is that they acknowledged his history. First of all, they acknowledged that he was on Tough Enough, which was amazing to me. You even got to hear the friggin' Al Snow say his real name, Ryan Reeves, which was just awesome. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of breaking kayfabe, but in this case, when you're using it to get the crowd to invest into somebody more, I am all for it. And it's one of those things where you can't do it often. This is a once every 5 or 6 years kind of thing. And I love that they used it on Ryback here. And not only did they use it in that they showed that he was on Tough Enough, but then they also showed that he was a part of the Nexus as Skip Sheffield. And the commentary even put over, this was back when Ryback was in the Nexus, then known as Skip Sheffield. And they even highlighted when he used his first meat hook clothesline on WWE television. They didn't have it. They hadn't called it that yet, but it's the same thing. And that was part of the reason that I absolutely loved him when he was in the Nexus, was because of that lariat. And this promo was so heartfelt, and it felt like Ryback was really like, it was halfway between him trying to connect with the crowd and him trying to stick it to CM Punk and be like, hey guy, I've been hurt in this business too, but I didn't quit.
Yeah, I know some people, and that's fine, I can understand that, but I know some people may disagree with my phrasing here with what I'm about to say. I feel like this is a breakout promo for Ryback.
Absolutely. I don't think people understand Ryback is not a bad talker. I think he had like one word slip up in this whole promo, but Ryback is a good talker, and to put that into perspective, and I've said this on Twitwell before, but I don't think that I have said it since we've been on YouTube Twitwell, so my having said it might be kind of lost in the annals of the internet somewhere. But when Ryback was in NXT, and it was season 1 of NXT, and it was him and Daniel Bryan and Wade Barrett and that whole crew, and Justin Gabriel, they were in England for one show in NXT, and they had the Talk challenge, where you had to cut, I think it was a 30-second promo, and Matt Stryker gave you a freaking index card with the subject of what your promo is supposed to be on it. And the crowd decided who won the Talk challenge, and they narrowed it down. It was when all 8 guys were still in it, I believe, and they got all 8 guys cut their promos, and then they let the crowd choose, and Matt Stryker did the thing where he held his hand over the guys' heads, and the crowd, obviously, they're in England, they popped huge for Barrett. Barrett was the number 1 pop, but Ryback, Skip Sheffield at the time, got a big enough reaction that it warranted a tiebreaker. It was Ryback, or sorry, I keep on calling him that, but that back then it was Skip Sheffield and Wade Barrett. And basically Skip Sheffield forced a tiebreaker with Wade Barrett, who had the home field advantage at the time. So to me, if that doesn't speak volumes about Skip Ryback now, his ability to connect with the crowd from a promo standpoint, I don't know what does.
I think the 2 biggest things that I just want to highlight for me personally, Ashton, that I loved about this, one, I think they did a brilliant job of creating an atmosphere for this promo.
Yeah, it felt like a breakout moment, like you said.
Yeah, because they show the video package with Tuvanov and the next all this stuff, which was brilliant by itself. Then Ryback takes control of the camera and he says, "Hey, camera guy, get a close up here." And I think he said his ankle, and he showed like the bruising and like the scar.
No,
and
dude,
everything.
it was the gigantic scar that ran from his knee to his foot.
Yeah, and I thought that was such a superb touch. But then, and I have to address this because I feel like Ryback has been hearing the disgruntled with a lot of Rusev storylines. He makes it a point to go out of his way to say it's not an America-Russia thing. It's a big guy kicking another big guy's ass thing.
Yeah.
I love that. Ryback,
Yeah.
with that soundbite, has differentiated his beef with Rusev from all of his predecessors trying to take it to Rusev.
And you know what, dude? I'm going to say this right now. I don't know if they're planning on having Ryback face Rusev one-on-one at Royal Rumble, or if they're having the two guys just be in the Rumble match itself. But I will say this right now. If Ryback wins the Royal Rumble, I will not be surprised, nor will I be angry. Because Ryback versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, after Ryback has at that point beaten Rusev for the first time, I can get behind.
I can as well. Hell, I feel like what Royal Rumble was, I want to say 2013.
Yeah.
I felt like that was Ryback's year.
Yeah, so dude, that was the whole thing where it was when Ryback was going after CM Punk when Punk had the championship. And that was when Jericho came out and said Ryback should beat Punk, and then at the Royal Rumble he should beat The Rock, and all that stuff. And then obviously Ryback wasn't actually going against The Rock because he never beat Punk. But then everyone's talking about he should win the Rumble to go against The Rock. And the whole idea was that they could have made a star out of Ryback right then and there, but they never pulled the trigger. So maybe now they're deciding to kind of go there because I think Ryback has proven his loyalty. He's proven that he's able to connect with the crowd. He's gotten a lot better and, dare I say, safer in the ring. And I really think that, again, I don't want to say it's Ryback's time because that implies that it's nobody else's time. But I do think that Ryback is a welcome addition to the next generation.
Absolutely. I mean,
and when I say next generation, I mean like the generation that's taking over right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ashton, you know that I've told you in conversation, and I think I've even said it on TwitWow, that I'm putting my money on Ryback to beat Rusev at the Royal Rumble. And after this promo, I'm locking it, man. No backing down now.
That again, though, that's if they have a one-on-one match. There's still a very strong possibility that we'll just have Ryback and Rusev as members of the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, and that's very true. And
in that case, I could still see Ryback being the one to eliminate Rusev.
Right, yeah.
And that could kind of be like the big deal there. And then they have a one-on-one match at Chamber, or at Fastlane, I guess I should say.
Yeah, if they'd want to do a match at Fastlane and then I really culminate it at Mania, I would not be angry about that at all. But to keep the focus here on the segment, because we're almost finished up here, the last thing Ryback says is he takes negative things people say and he eats them, turning them into positives. And he pretty much tells Rusev, feed me more. I was pumped after this.
Yeah,
let's go.
He said the whole thing about how he turns what people say, that negatives, and turns them into positives, and he eats them, and then when he has eaten his fill, that's when he says, feed me more.
Yeah. Crazy, man. I'm telling you, I'm standing by it. This was Ryback's breakout moment tonight.
Yep.
Very proud of him for cutting a promo. Very proud of WWE allowing him to do this as well. And I feel like it's somewhat, at least for this episode, kind of set a precedent for things to come because other people speak in their mind, which we'll get to. But yeah.
Would you say breakout moment of 2014 is like a legitimate, like a borderline slammy category that should be happening?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, definitely.
And would you say that this was it, or would you say
you know what? I would. See, I would, because I don't think any of us, even though I agree with you, Ryback is a good talker. I think he's very underappreciated on the mic. I don't think anybody expected something like this to come out of a character like Ryback.
Right.
So, yeah, I would.
All right. Well, hey, that being said, guys, speaking of the Slammies, Wednesday, we are going to be putting out a year-end awards commentary. It won't be an episode of TwitWow. It's just going to be TwitWow Awards.
Right.
So I wanted to kind of make that announcement so that everyone knew. Wanted it to kind of get it out here in the first like 25 to 30 minutes of the recording, and then I'll say it again towards the end of the recording as we're closing out. Just wanted to make sure that everyone is aware we are doing a year-end awards commentary, and I will have that up on Wednesday the 31st.
It's going to be awesome, guys. I always love this time of year.
All right, now we can move on here. Up next, we had Natalya versus Nikki Bella with Tyson Kidd and Brie Bella at ringside.
Not really much to say here, Ashton. I mean, Natalya was kind of hot out of the box, very aggressive towards Nikki Bella, but at one point she gets a little overly aggressive. She knocks Nikki off the apron. Tyson Kidd catches her. We see, I guess, a minor flirtation between the two, but then Tyson's like, whoa, I wasn't doing anything. There's a distraction going on the outside. I guess Brie kind of talking to Tyson. Natalya's wrapped up in it. Nikki nails like a huge right hand, gets the rack attack on Natalya, and she gets the win.
It's still ridiculous that the rack attack is actually a thing.
I
and
know.
Of course it would be the Bella with the implants.
Of course. But yeah, Nikki Bella does get the win. Tyson Kidd checks on Natalya after the fact. But then we get back to more interesting matters, because I personally enjoyed this segment. The Miz and Damien Mizdow are backstage talking. Naomi walks up and she suddenly hugs the Miz. She thanks him. She says that she would like to talk to Miz in private. Damien Mizdow pretty much mimics like telling himself to leave, which was hilarious. And she says that she's grateful to Miz because the producer that I guess he hooked her up with called and said that he wants to see like more of her stuff because she showed him like the music video and everything else. So it seems like doors are opening up for Naomi. She wishes Miz good luck tonight, and she says, she knows that he's taking a lot of crap from her husband Jimmy Uso, but she really appreciates it. And she walks off, and Miz has got this smile on this face. If we didn't know that Miz was such a douche, I would be really feeling very sympathetic for him for everything that he's doing. And Jimmy Uso just going, hey, stay away from my wife, and all that stuff, because he's looking like a real
Can I
deal.
just say, after this, and then the title match that we got literally up next, I have this weird feeling that they're going to turn the Miz face.
Yeah, it's crazy because
it's really hard to kind of work out how it's going to be because it's just a gut feeling, but I feel like they're going to use this as a storyline where the Miz secretly fell in love with Naomi.
And you know what? That very well could happen. That would not surprise me at all because this is the WWE we're talking about. So that kind of storyline certainly falls within the realm of plausibility as far as I'm concerned. Would I hate it? I honestly don't. I mean, I don't think I would
because I'm not a big fan of the Miz at all, and I think he's a way better heel than face. But if there is any kind, and you know what though, that wouldn't work either because the Miz is married to friggin' Maurice and everyone knows it.
Yeah.
Oh, see, but to me, that's the best explanation for why Miz and Mizdow lost the titles tonight is because Miz was distracted. He was contemplating his feelings, and Naomi had just hugged him and talked about how great he was, and he was conflicted and all that stuff. And that could make a really good real life reflecting storyline. But then again, the Miz and Naomi are both married, and it would go into the realm of taboo. And I don't know if the WWE is willing to go there in 2014.
I'll tell you where I do think they're willing to go as we exit 2014. I guarantee you Miz is going to be so salty about this loss because really as far as the match
you think he's going to blame Mizdow? Yeah.
He's not only going to blame Mizdow, but you watch, because he doesn't have the gold anymore and he doesn't have that leverage. There's going to be a segment where Naomi's in tears and she's going to be like, I don't understand. The producer no longer has interest in me. What happened? And Miz is going to muddle up this whole thing for Naomi. And that's just how it's going to be. And then Jimmy Uso is going to be, the valiant knight, so to speak, defending the honor of his wife, beating it into the Miz. Like, how could you play with my wife's feelings like that? That's exactly where I see this going, telegraph. So, even though I don't know.
I kind of have a feeling that you're probably right, but I just have this weird gut feeling that the WWE is going to go a little bit more complex with this one. I shouldn't because I should know better. I should know that the WWE thinks that their fans are all 7-year-old idiots. And we can't figure out complex real-life storylines to save our lives anymore, even though we apparently were able to in the 90s, late 90s. But yeah, you're probably right. So let's just move on.
I
Do
know.
you actually want to talk about the tag title match? Because
I mean,
the only real notable thing to me was that one of the Usos kicked out of the skull crushing finale.
yeah, which made me, I don't even want to get into it. I mean, Usos really are OP, and I think this is the biggest confirmation of it. But no, actually, we really don't have to talk about it. Like, it wasn't a bad tag match, but it was a by-the-numbers kind of Usos match.
And you know what? The worst thing is that then they had an entire friggin' segment afterwards dedicated to the celebration, and Jerry Lawler interviewed him, and they plugged JR's barbecue and all this crap. I just hope the Ascension takes the titles off of him within the next month or two.
Oh, yes. Please, yes. Please, yes. So I guess, yeah, we won't discuss any of that, because, again, it was just standard stuff, considering
Again, though, it's
Usos.
worth noting that they used Naomi in their celebration.
That is true, yeah, and she looked happy, and all
Yeah,
that
she
stuff.
looked happy, but I just have this weird feeling that they told Naomi to do what she did with The Miz before the match to take his mind off of the match.
Oh, it wowould be interesting, right? If Jimmy was kind of manipulating the situation and then kind of leads to an Usos heel turn. I don't know.
No, see, I don't even know if, because that's the thing, John. Baby faces in WWE are kind of dicks anyway.
It's so true, isn't it? Like, oh God, why? It's so hard when we're trying to make something golden here and try and be as logical as possible, but WWE just doesn't budge. Because I love everything that you're saying, dude. I really do. It's not you. It's just I can really see Miz giving Naomi the cold shoulder after the fact.
And that's my thing, though. Like, I feel like there's a really good chance that one of the Usos, I'm probably Jimmy because he's the freaking husband, but he probably got up to Naomi and he said, hey, why don't you go and act happy and tell the Miz that he helped you and tell the Miz that he got you an audition or whatever it was that she said, and give him a big hug for me. And she did it, and Jimmy knew that would throw off the Miz's game, and that's why they won tonight.
Right. Man, I can't believe, I really got to applaud you, because I didn't really think this story had any,
See, and that's the only thing, though.
Underneath.
Like, I have a tendency to way overthink this kind of stuff, and to me, it all comes back to the idea that the Usos were talking about how the only reason Miz was talking to Naomi in the first place was to distract them because they were the number one contenders for the championships.
Right.
So apparently Naomi in the universe of the WWE is the most distracting thing on the planet. So the Usos tried to backfire that voodoo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you, man. Oh, man. But I do, though, sincerely, I love the complexity that you're kind of exposing with this whole thing, and I wish WWE would kind of mine it for their own benefit, but I'm just trying to keep it basic because I really don't have those kinds of expectations, so we'll have to see what happens.